And I'm pleased to welcome to the 2025 edition of Statehouse Conversations, Representative Cherrish Pryor. She's a Democrat from Indianapolis, District 94 to be precise. You've been around House since 2008, familiar face. I always enjoy sitting down and chatting with you.
Thank you.
You've seen a lot of comings and goings here. What's on the front burner for you this session?
There are quite a few things that are important to me this session. We have a budget this year. We have to pass budget constitutionally.
So one thing you have to do, right? Everything else
we don't
is
do
the
anything
proverbial
else,
icing on the cake,
yes,
right?
we have to do that. But I think taxpayers will probably be upset if we don't look at trying to address the property taxes as well. So if we leave without trying to provide them with some relief, I think people may not be so happy as well. So that has been a big topic that we have been having.
Is there, I know there's a lot you want to talk about, and we'll get to it, but how tough is it going to be to give people that kind of relief and yet not put a burden on local government, which, basically state doesn't take any of the property. They don't even get a cut. It all goes, to local government. And any reduction there presumably would be local. But is there a way to reconcile those two forces and give people the relief they need and yet keep local government whole?
Well, I think it probably is, and that is one of the things that we're going to have to address, and it's one of the things that I've consistently stated, that we have to look at providing property tax relief to people, but we cannot hurt local governments in schools. So we're going to have to be creative with
balance,
that. Yeah, we have to find that
pick
balance.
Your metaphor: thread the needle, balance, right.
Yeah,
walk
it's
the
a delicate needle to thread. Making sure that we continue to provide the services to people, but not pricing people out of their homes. Because if we destabilize the property tax base, then we're affecting all the services, the money that goes to the services that we need as well. So we got that. We have House Bill 1136, the bill that's going to pretty much eliminate IPS, and which is a problem. And then also a bill.
And let's back up there, because I don't. Not a lot of people have talked about that, because only a few constituencies would be potentially affected. But these are districts where if fewer than 50% of the students that are eligible to attend your schools do attend your schools, if they're going to charter schools, if they're going to parochial schools, the state would essentially, there would be dissolution of that school board. So that would potentially do away with Indianapolis public school system.
Yeah.
That's
Gary,
your district, and Gary, and a few
Gary.
Others that are more rural. Is that a significant threat? Would be the worst scenario for you this session, to see something like that enacted?
Yeah, so I have part of IPS and part of Pike and part of Washington Township as well. So I have 3 schools, but only Pike will be affected here in Marion County for me. I think it will be a horrible thing if it were to happen. Just even for someone to think that it's okay for locals to not have a say in their school districts is very problematic. We have school boards that people elect that's closest to the people, they're accountable to the people, and to eliminate an entire school corporation and turn it over to potentially people who have no connections with the local community, where there's no accountability to the people, will be traumatic. And I think it will be traumatic not only to the property tax base, it'll be traumatic to the students and traumatic to the family as well.
So education, clearly front and center. It's a big part of the budget, but even aside from the budget negotiations and what kind of money goes for base tuition support, as far as you're concerned, that's only part of the puzzle. It's these other issues.
Part of the puzzle.
And we'll talk about some of the other priorities you have this session. I know you've introduced some bills, and I know you're a passionate advocate of your legislation. Give us a highlight.
So one of the bills that I introduced that I'm hoping to get a hearing on, which is a priority bill, or I should say on the list for the Black Caucus, is my bill dealing with autism. And what the bill deals with is having a notation in the records for the Bureau or BMV, notating that someone may have autism, so that if they're stopped by the police department, the police officers and law enforcement would know that person has autism. If they're not communicating with the police officer, the officer would know there's a medical condition for this individual that I need to take into consideration. So I think that would be very helpful to the police as well as the individual, and that's
to
something
avoid
that
some misunderstandings, that the kind we've read about and seen.
a lot of
unfortunately, across the country.
misunderstandings. So that's the bill that I have. That's a priority for me that I'm certainly trying to push and get over the finish line.
And what's the one thing when you're, let's say, fast forward to April 29th, and when you're sleep deprived and you walk back to and have your first meeting with constituents, the coffee meeting, what has to happen for you to go and say, all right, we did you right this session?
Well, I would say if we get some type of property tax relief done for individuals and not negatively impact local government, I think if I could get my bill passed dealing with BMV and autism, that would be another great thing that I would take back to.
And if IPS stays IPS.
And IPS stays IPS. And, and those are, just a few of the bills. We also have a bill trying to get rid of township government, not in Marion County, but obviously if that happens in Marion County, in other counties, it could potentially happen in Marion County. So if we could get out of here without passing that bill, that would also be
So sometimes it's
win.
offense and sometimes it's playing defense. I guess like any
kind of like driving.
Yeah, I guess that's an apt description. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, Cherrish Pryor, thank you for taking time to chat with us about this session and your priorities, your wish list. I commend you on your commitment to the state of Indiana and to public service and to your constituents here in Indianapolis in District 94. Democrat Cherrish Pryor, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.